Welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode, and today our guest is Nathan Epler. You probably recognize him as an IFBB Pro Olympia finalist, but he's also the owner of a really cool gym in Indianapolis, Indiana, not far from where I grew up in Southern Indiana. Super excited to talk to him about this gym. But before we get started, let me show you some photos that I took while I was at the gym. All right, Nathan, you've been a really high-level pro bodybuilder for quite a good number of years, like at the pinnacle. Like, what made you decide? What was the mindset, that you decided, like, I want to start a gym?
Well, so first of all, I appreciate you having me on and coming out to the gym back when you came out to the gym, and we really.
Oh, thank you.
So definitely appreciate it. Yeah, man, honestly, like I kind of going backwards a little bit. I was a wrestler in high school and middle school. So I wrestled for about 8 years. And that's kind of how I started training. That's where I started really finding the love for bodybuilding and fitness and that kind of thing. And then obviously I got out of high school, went to college, started training at some other gyms. And honestly, I just really realized that there was not really any kind of higher level, I guess, because the gyms are gyms, and a lot of in our area there's just a lot of corporate style gyms, LA Fitnesses, Planet Fitnesses, Anytimes, stuff like that. But we didn't really have that like kind of hardcore or more. We try to avoid the term hardcore because we don't want to scare people away, but more fitness forward gym,
right.
That really kind of puts the members first and really focuses on, what offerings we have as far as equipment goes and things like that. So we just didn't really have anything around me that I felt was adequate to what I was looking for, that are similar to like the Gold's Gym or like an MI40 or Quad's Gym. Other states around the country have this kind of model gym.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have it here, so that was kind of my drive for it.
Okay, yeah. I would jump right into talking about equipment because I love talking about equipment, but I'm actually really excited to talk to you about the atmosphere of the gym. So if you don't mind, I want to go there next, because when I was coming to your gym, I was like, okay, this is Nathan Epler's gym. It's going to be hardcore, that word you still like to use. It's going to be badass. And not that it wasn't, but I was shocked at how inviting it was. Like, you've done a really good job of creating a gym that is good for a pro bodybuilder, but also good for somebody straight off the street. And when I was there, I saw a mix of all of those people. I'm assuming that's something that you did on purpose.
It is, yeah.
And how did you go about, like, how did you go about like creating that? Because that's not easy to do.
So it's kind of when I started formulating these ideas and started figuring out what I wanted AMF to be like, that was kind of my thought process. Is I want people to walk in and smile. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would tell people, because people would ask, well, how's it going to be different? What's it going to be like? And I would tell people, you're going to be excited just to walk in. And I think we've very well captivated that feeling. And really, it has a lot to do with having the right equipment, the right people, and all of that. So we call it the old school camaraderie with the new school feel. And that was a big part of my idea, is that I wanted to captivate that. I wanted it to feel, a little bit hardcore, a little bit more fitness forward, and really be enticing for people that want to take their fitness to the next level, but still have that new modern age feel, new amenities. It's a brand new facility. We built out the entire building ourselves with a contractor. It's 23,000 square feet. So it was a shell of a space that was empty for 10 years. when we took it over. And yeah, we really just worked with our architects very closely to kind of fulfill that dream and that idea.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I was actually, and it was surprising, like, but in a good way when I was there. And I think you mentioned like having the equipment. You had a really, like, I love gyms that have new school equipment, but also do a good job of mixing in old school equipment. And you had a pretty good variety of like old school stuff. You had new school stuff. You even had a few pieces that I would call like more fitness center stuff, but the best of that brand, if that makes sense. Like you had a hoist piece, and I was like, oh, there's a hoist piece. But then I used it, I'm like, oh, okay, now it makes sense why this piece is here.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, like, what's your decision? What's your thought process on how you pick the equipment that goes on the floor?
There's not really like one set answer for that. There's not really like one specific thing that I'm like looking for that tailors that decision. But I think that having the versatility in my mind that I do, and kind of the direction we want to go with equipment, allows for us to bring in the best of all worlds of equipment, right? So, excuse me. So when we started developing this, the equipment was definitely a challenging aspect because we have such a big facility, right? So it's 23,000 square feet. We have 15,000 square feet on the gym floor after the build out. So I knew I don't have this in the budget to fill it with all Arsenal.
Right.
No, I don't have it in the budget to fill it with all Rogue and, the name brand pieces. So we really had to be strategic on picking out some packages and picking out things that, Life Fitness, Hammer Strength, that you're going to see at a lot of your corporate gyms. But I think really what it comes down to is I've spent so much time before I opened this gym traveling around, going to gyms, obviously, and then me being a pro now in the last, since 2019, I really started to get a good glimpse of like, okay, I don't really like this decline chest piece. I don't get the connection.
Right.
I really don't like this piece, or, I kind of just, for really lack of a better analogy, I kind of cherry picked all the gyms in the area that I was going to, right? So I was kind of going around. I'd been to probably 5 or 6, probably 5 of the different gyms in our area within a 30-minute kind of radius around our location. And I really just cherry picked them. And I was like, okay, these are good pieces. I don't really prefer these. And then I would ask people, like, what kind of equipment do you like? And that's kind of where I really started to figure out, okay, what's in demand and what pieces can we, shy away from.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I'm a firm believer that, like, as much as I love Panada and and Atlantis, I don't love every piece that I've ever used of there. So it's cool that you were able to like move around and try out different pieces and hand select these different pieces. And I noticed as I was going through the gym, I know you've added a ton since I was there last, and I'd love to get back up there this summer and check it out again. But even when I was there, it was cool in the fact that, okay, here's this chest press. Like you had the Strive chest press, and then you had a newer chest press sitting next to it. And I was like, okay, this one hits differently than this one. And I know this one's probably going to connect for different people. So you had like not just a good variety of equipment, but also like an abundance of equipment in the space so that it could hit different people in different ways.
Yeah. And I really appreciate that. It's great to hear, people from the outside looking in that are able to identify some of those things, because it's exactly what we had thought about. I tell people and members, it's great to have a bodybuilder make a gym because we have 26 cables in our gym. I mean, we have dumbbells up to 200 pounds. We have duplicate dumbbells all the way up to 100. So it's like we started really thinking about, okay, what are all the pieces within a gym that you typically wait for? Fly machines, cables, dumbbells, easy bars, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these things that you go into a gym and it's just like, man, we're kind of in the rush hour, or it's a little busy in this gym, and now I've got to wait 15 minutes for a piece because they don't have a duplicate, or they just don't have more variety of that same style of piece. And so those are, just like you said, kind of the same things that we were kind of thinking is, okay, I don't want people to have to wait. I want to be able to serve more people. And even when we're at our busiest, I really want to try for people to not have to wait too long for equipment. And we've done a great job with that. We have tons of duplicates of machines, cables, dumbbells. Gosh, probably like between flat benches and incline dumbbell benches, we probably have 15 or more. So even as some of those are getting moved away to Smith machines or used in a different area, the dumbbell area still has utility benches and things like that people can use.
Yeah, and even when I was there, that was one of the first things I noticed was that there was an abundance of different things that you could use if it got busy. I was luckily there at a time in the middle of the afternoon when it wasn't busy.
Yeah.
So it made it much easier for me to take photos. But
sure.
Now, as far as where the gym is now, and you also, just a quick comment, anybody who hasn't been to this gym, it's perfectly organized. Like when you walk in, like everything's organized by body part. And I'm assuming that was on purpose.
Yes.
So,
yep.
You can tell when you go to a gym that was designed by a bodybuilder, it's always perfectly organized.
Yeah, we talk about that. Like I'm really big on the flow. I call it the flow of the gym. And you've got to be able to move in and out of the space relatively easily. So even we have nice big aisle like walkways in specific areas, and that also helps divide up the sections of the gym. So even though the sections aren't labeled, people can look around and pretty easily see, okay, this is chest and shoulder grouping stuff. Here's the dumbbell area. Oh, and as you move over, there's arm equipment. There's, the back equipment's right down here, and then all the legs are on the very end with the turf. And so that flow of the gym, it's amazing to see, especially when we're at our busiest times, from 4 to 8 p.m. and we have over 100 people in the gym. The longest I've had to wait on any equipment is maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And so we get a lot of that good feedback from members that, yeah, I still don't have to wait on anything. Or, oh, well, if this is taken, there's a machine that's very similar to two machines down that people can use. So it flows very well.
Yeah, and it's great when things are organized properly and you're on chest day and you're like, oh, I haven't used that. It's so easy to find, like, okay, I want to mix up your chest day or to mix up your back day. Or, I've been to some gyms that they have a lot of equipment, but it's in 4 different sections of the gym, and you got to do like cardio to hit everything in the gym. So it's cool when gyms actually move it into one spot.
For sure. So, even to the like, I put a cable crossover in our dumbbell area. And it's because a lot of people, if they're moving quickly, some people like to superset.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you might be working in the dumbbell area doing a bicep movement, and you want to go hit a tricep movement on a cable. Mm-hmm. And when you're pairing certain exercises, I started thinking about, okay, how can I make this how can I help the versatility of the space and make it to where everything is in close proximity, and make it flow.
Oh, no, that's really cool. Yeah, it definitely, you could tell there was thought process in the gym. And I was there when it first opened, so that was cool. So right now you're at 25,000 square feet. You've put in a lot of new equipment since you opened. What's next? Are you happy with where the gym is? Is there more you want to do? Were you looking for a bigger location at some point? Will there ever be an AMF2?
Yeah, all great questions and all stuff that I'm very excited to share. And it's done amazing. We're very blessed with how this has gone, and we have over 2,000 accounts at the gym in less than 2 years. So It's doing very well. It's still growing. Not as quickly now, obviously, as kind of some of the original hype has died since we've opened, but we still book in a lot of members every single month, and there's still constantly new people coming in, and it's grown very well. And I'm super thankful of our members and our community that have gotten behind it so much. We are going to be opening other locations for sure. We've kind of already been in talks about that, even as early as now, within 2 years.
Oh,
We're
wow.
kind of looking at, we have a lot of pull to the north side. I mean, I just had 2 different people ask for today when we're going to expand and get a location up on the north side. So we're on the south side of Indianapolis, and it's about a 30 or 35-minute drive up to the north side, which is a different demographic for us, and definitely we have some demand up there. So I'm not exactly sure on a time frame. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts that go into it, and one of the biggest parts is just finding the proper location and making sure we do it right.
Yeah, like up in the like Carmel area or still down in Indy?
Yeah, probably just south of Carmel. I mean, I really want to stay out of Hamilton County. I really want to try to keep it in Marion if I can, but again, it's a little tricky. It's definitely a little tricky. There's a lot of the dollars are different from one county to the next, and the taxes, there's a lot that goes into that. So, and then also just being kind of landlocked right there is making sure that we can find a style of space that fits our brand.
Oh yeah, it sounds awesome though. Like, and as soon as you get that next gym open, please let me know. I would definitely get out there and hit that.
Yeah, I mean, the goal, I had a pretty lofty goal. I really wanted to get 3 locations open in 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's I think probably within the first year of how this one has gone, I kind of realized, okay, we can definitely expand upon this, and it's definitely a business model that works, and it's definitely a gym culture that really works in this area.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's easily expandable. It's just time and money and patience.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, I've been to some good gyms in Indy, but most of them are more like powerlifting gyms and not bodybuilding gyms.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got, like I said, lots of corporate gyms, some powerlifting gyms, and then, yeah, I mean, we're very unique for our market.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's super exciting stuff. One of the other questions we always ask people, and I'm really anxious to hear your answer because you have a cool background and before you even started doing this. Now that you've opened the gym and you've owned it for a couple of years and you've been through the trials and the tribulations of getting your gym open and getting it to the point where you're at, is there some advice that you would give to someone who's thinking about owning a gym or opening a gym?
Oh, it's a great question. That's a great question. I would say really research and really try to over prepare. I think one of the things that I didn't realize is the cost of doing things commercially versus on residential side. So the cost of everything of operating, especially, I mean, a larger facility. Now, if you're going to operate a smaller gym, obviously the overhead and the cost of doing business is going to be a lot less. But I think that was one of the things that kind of was a shell shock a little bit when I would start to get some of these quotes and invoices back, and I'm like, man, mirrors are going to cost how much?
Right.
Like, it's a little bit of shell shock. So I think for one is do your research and be patient and don't be afraid of working very, very hard. And that's just, there are a lot of challenges you have to overcome. But I think, mainly if you believe in yourself, if you believe in the brand, if you believe in the vision, as long as you stay true to yourself, stay true to the course, and be patient and work hard, it's definitely feasible for a lot of people.
No, that's great advice. Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, I didn't really have any other questions, but I appreciate you coming on and thank you very much for this time. And I look forward to seeing what's next for AMF.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm happy to come on and do some updates as we continue to grow. Like I said, we've added so much equipment. So the next time you want to come out, just let me know. We've added, I mean, just in December alone, we added 12 new pieces of equipment. I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and between probably October to December, we added probably almost 20. So there had been some other gyms in our area that had shut down that we ended up taking some of the pieces from. And we brought in, gosh, now, I mean, We've got a Cybex. I don't know if the Cybex squat press was here when you were here.
I don't think so. I did chest that day, so it's
okay. We've got a lot.
Yeah, when I go to different gyms, it's easy to find a leg gym. It's easy to find a back gym.
Yeah.
If I can find a good chest gym, like I'm hitting chest because it's so hard to find a good chest gym. And like I walk, I'm like, I want to use that. I want to use that. I want to use that. I'm like, yep, we're hitting chest today. So
we've got a Dynabody power press. Did you get to use the standing chest press from Dynabody that's here? It's plate loaded.
Yeah. I got a chance to use that. And
that's a good one. And then we just added the Arsenal standing lateral raise. We just added it's Rogers pendulum power squat. We added
that's
that.
My favorite one.
Oh yeah, very good. So and now we've got, actually we just purchased an original Nebula leg press that's unilateral, and it's had one owner since the 90s. So that was a huge find. I actually had another gym owner that reached out that was like, hey, I've located this, I've got this, let me know if you're interested. So it's cool, man. It's been great, developing connections around the industry, and really just I have a blast pouring it on here and putting new equipment in and seeing the members get excited about that, and it just helps with the brand. AMF is a thriving brand and community, and it's obviously I'm biased, but it's so fun here. It's a blast.
Well, and you can tell when you go into a gym if the owner is active and present. Like when I go into a gym because I always talk to the members, I'm like, if I talk to the members and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think about Nathan? And they're like, who's Nathan? Then it's probably not a very good gym. They're like, oh yeah, Nathan's always here. He's cool. Like he's always around the gym. He's always giving us new stuff. And like, it's probably a badass gym. Like even before I even look at anything else, just the presence of the owner makes a giant difference. So it's awesome that you're there and always trying to deliver something better for your clients.
It's my biggest motto in life is take care of others and you'll always be taken care of. And
100%.
I'm a people forward person, and I really try to be impactful with people and try to lead a great life helping others. And that's been my calling ever since I was young. So I enjoy it. I get to do it here now on a scale that's a lot bigger than what I did in the past. So it's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and again, thank you for coming on, and I look forward to seeing what's next.
Cool, man. Yeah, Chris, I appreciate you having us, man.
All right, thank you.
All right.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.